The president has been moving away from health care reform and shifting to the economy to try to prevent this massacre for the Democrats in the midterm elections, which some are predicting. Will it work is the question. Russ Schriefer is former senior media consultant for Governor Mitt Romney. Richard Goodstein is here as well, former campaign advisor to President Clinton and Vice President Gore. Richard, I suppose some are fearing that you have a renewed focus on the economy. That's good, but does that mean that we have more government spending? Does that go hand in hand? Another stimulus bill? Could that be bad?
Well, let's go back and look, Jane, at the stimulus that we had a year ago. All forecasts by economists who aren't really Democratic or Republican economists, Mark Zandi, who was an advisor to the McCain campaign, I think Russ knows him, says that without the stimulus, unemployment would be appreciably higher and GDP would be appreciably lower. So I don't think it's fair to say that the administration has taken its eye off the ball. I think in the way they've talked about it, actually, I do think that they're open to some criticism because healthcare, energy, education are things that really mean the world to job creation and people's kind of position in the world. But I don't think they've kind of tied that back to shoring up the middle class. They've talked about it more in the abstract. And I think in that regard, I'm not sure if it's a rebooting of their policies, but I do think there's maybe a little retooling of their message.
Okay, so Richard, I'm going to stay with you for a second because if you were to retool their message, what would you say?
Well, again, I think that, that with respect to the proposals that the president just launched, for example, I think the middle class has to be reminded and persuaded that he's standing up for them. I think what galls them, what this Tea Party business amounts to, what you saw in August at all those town hall meetings, was people thinking, yeah, big banks got bailed out, auto companies got bailed out, these people on Wall Street are getting away with murder. No one's helping me. And I think what the administration needs to do is remind people that they got elected to help those very people who now don't feel like anybody's standing up for them. I think they are, but I don't think that message has been communicated very well.
Russ, Evan Bayh, Democratic Senator of Indiana, has called on the president to freeze all non-mandatory spending. What do you see going forward with this shift on the economic message?
Well, I think they have to move into talking about the economy. And look, I'm not one who wants to give advice to Democrats, particularly now when they've been 0 for 3 in sort of big elections in the last couple of months. But you have to shift into the economy. And I think the big thing is to take a lesson from President Clinton. After the midterm elections during his first term, he got himself into trouble. And instead of governing from a left agenda, he started moving more to the center. And I think that a lot of people thought that the Barack Obama that they were voting for was going to be a different kind of Democrat, someone who's going to govern and work with Republicans and Democrats. To date, he hasn't really done that. And I think the more he can kind of move into the middle, the better off that they're going to be. Now, whether or not that works and whether or not they're capable of doing that, I think is another question.
Russ, I just literally have 15 seconds, but we've got 10 months. They've got 10 months to do that before the November elections. Is that, in political circles, plenty of time?
Well, they have plenty of time. They also have plenty of pressure. They have both Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid pushing at them from the left. They have health care that's still on the table that some officials in the White House say they want to double down on. They have this cap-and-trade energy bill. They have unions that they need to sort of placate. So there's a lot of pressure on them from the left, and the question is whether or not they're going to be able to do it. Remember, there was 49 Democrats who are sitting in congressional seats that were won by John McCain. Every single one of them, the ones that are still running, are incredibly nervous right now.
Yeah, and a couple have been asking for the extension of the Bush tax cuts. We will see. Russ Schriefer, Richard Goodstein, good to see you both. Thanks.
Thanks, Jane.